Hey guys, this is Malcolm from Automotive Addicts. Today I'm bringing you the 2020 Buick Encore GX. Now I don't want you to confuse the Buick Encore, which is a smaller vehicle, with this one. This one is an all-new model for 2020 for Buick. It is slightly larger than the regular Buick Encore. As you notice, the back end has a little bit more space than the regular Encore. And on the Encore GX, you get quite a few available features. Now, this particular model I have today is the top-of-the-line version. It is the Essence trim. There are 3 trims of the Buick Encore GX for 2020. And having the top-of-the-line model opens up quite a few options. Now, the car is packed full of several desirable features. Some are somewhat luxury features. As we walk around the vehicle, you notice its size. It still is a subcompact crossover utility vehicle. Notice some of the decent styling they have. Buick has stepped it up, and they have that funny joke about walking up to a Buick and saying, "That's not a Buick." Well, this is unmistakable Buick. Got your classic Buick badge. Has a neat styling. The tail lamps are kind of European-ish. Got your amber turn signals here. LED tail lights. The exhaust is well hidden on here under this skirt. You actually can't even see the exhaust pipe. And overall, I think it's a pretty good looking vehicle for what it is. It's a, like I said, compact, subcompact crossover. It's pretty stylish. Has some of that unique styling from some of the Buick concept vehicles we've seen over the years, especially with the grille up front and the headlights. Now, within those 3 trim levels of the Buick Encore GX, you can select 2 different engines. Now, with the 2 different engines, the front-wheel drive version of the car will always come with the standard 1.2-liter 3-cylinder engine. That is correct, 3-cylinder. Now, this one is a front-wheel drive vehicle as well, but it has the more powerful 1.3-liter 3-cylinder turbocharged engine. They're both turbocharged engines, and under the hood, we have that small 3-cylinder turbocharged 1.3-liter. And like I said, this one is the front-wheel drive version. In this particular configuration, with this engine, you get 155 horsepower, 174 pound-feet of torque. There are some surprising characteristics I'll mention to you on the drive. For a quick view of the interior of the 2020 Buick Encore GX, here's your door panels. We do have memory seats. Once again, that's one of those luxury features that's surprising to have in a car like this. You have your power liftgate, tailgate back there, and it's adjustable for the height. Your seats here. The seats are kind of narrow. Like I said, it is still a subcompact crossover. And we'll quickly just move to the back here. In the back, you have a somewhat of a small space. You don't have any vents back here, but you do have a USB-C and a normal USB port back here, and an actual plug, which is pretty convenient. It's your armrest, cup holders, door trim, your tinted glass in the back, and moving to the tailgate. Like I said, it's a power lift gate. And back here you do have about a little over 20 cubic feet of space. Now this flooring actually has 2 levels to it. It'll pull out, revealing your spare tire here. And right now it's on its lower level. You can actually put it on this next level here to raise it, which comes even with this lip here. Folding the seats down, we do have just over 50 cubic feet of space of cargo capacity, which, like I said, is more than that regular Encore. This is a bigger vehicle, the Encore GX. Power liftgate. And quickly before we jump in, you do have this okay sized panoramic roof here. Alright, inside the 2020 Buick Encore GX in the Essence trim. We'll go ahead and start it up. Push button start. Alright, for the 2020 Buick Encore GX, the gauge cluster we'll start with. And in the center here, we have a smallish LCD screen for your information. The screen does cut off right here, believe it or not. And just up top, you have the indicator lights. And right here, another nice luxury or premium feature is a heads-up display. Unfortunately for this heads-up display, it is a contained unit where it has its own piece of glass here, which is actually like a plastic. It displays a nice clear color readout. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but there are several information screens for you got your navigation, your even an RPM gauge, which is pretty clever. And moving over here, you have the controls for the heads-up display right here. And down here, you got your automatic headlights with auto high beam. They're LED headlights, and you have LED fog lights. Your window controls, power mirror controls, steering wheel controls for your adaptive cruise control, which is, like I said, another premium feature for this vehicle. You got your forward collision warning and emergency braking. You have a lane departure system as well, and a lane keep assist system. Got your blind spot monitors in the mirror. And moving down here, before we go to the infotainment screen, we'll move down here first. Got your physical climate controls, dual climate, automatic climate controls, and more USB ports. You have a regular USB port and a USB-C port and auxiliary input. And down here you have a wireless phone charger as well. And like I've looked at some of the other General Motors vehicles, some of the newer ones, they have a AC cooling vent down here underneath the mat for the wireless phone charger, which comes in handy because, as you know, some of the wireless phone chargers do make your phone pretty hot. That battery gets hot. It's your lane departure on off. And you have the annoying start-stop system here, your disable button. Traction control and your parking assist and parking distance control. And your electronic parking brake down here, gear shifter. You have a manual toggle on the side of the gear shifter, which you probably never use because this is a CVT transmission and it has virtual gears in a sense, where it actually doesn't change gears, it just adjusts the ratios on the CVT transmission. But lastly, moving up here to the infotainment system, which is very familiar to other General Motor vehicles. It's pretty much the same. I just had a Cadillac CT4. You probably viewed that video as well. That system is it's identical to this. You have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integration in here. The system is very responsive, very clear, but otherwise the dashboard, you have a lot of soft touch areas. Dashboard is soft touch here with the little accent stitching, soft touch right here, and moving down to the glove box, that is hard plastics. I'll open up the glove box, pretty standard size. Got your cubby holes over here, little cup holder area. Soft touch here, soft touch, soft touch. And the front seats are heated. There is no ventilation, unfortunately, but they are heated front seats. It does have a heated steering wheel as well. Buick didn't skimp as far as the available features on the Encore GX. It's very premium inside, even though the interior is very monotone with the black color. And my last bit of mentionable stuff on the interior is this camera rear view mirror system, which General Motors is starting to put in a lot of vehicles. It is pretty neat. Like I said, the only downside real quick is your field of depth for your adjustment for your eyes. When you're looking out there far in the distance and you quickly glance up here, your eyes take a second or two to adjust to this imagery, which is right here on the screen. All right, setting off in the 2020 Buick Encore GX. Like I said, this is the Essence trim top of the line version. This is the front-wheel drive vehicle with the 1.3 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine. And that engine is mated to a CVT, a continuously variable transmission. Now, crazy enough as it is, this is probably the best CVT I've experienced in a vehicle this size, with 155 horsepower, 174 pound-feet of torque. It actually meshes pretty well with this engine. It simulates gear changes through just ratio changes with the CVT. But overall, the driving experience is pretty comfortable. It's relatively quiet, believe it or not, as well. You don't get that high-pitched drone sound from like a normal four-cylinder you would get, even some of the turbocharged four-cylinder engines. Now, surprisingly, the driver position of the car is pretty good. You sit at the right height in the seat, even with adjusting the power adjustable seat up or down. You still have a good view of the outside of the vehicle. Driving the car, I wouldn't say it's necessarily slow. I believe 0 to 60 comes around almost 9 seconds, a little over 8.7 seconds around there is what I timed a few times. From what I'm getting at, the car is pretty decent as far as staying with legal limits of the road. I know it's kind of a corny thing to say, but in something like this, you're not going to be speeding around town. It's enough to overtake a few vehicles. If I wanted to overtake this car in front of me, I could easily do that with the amount of road that I have left. But with the CVT transmission, it does a pretty good job in keeping it in the power band. It doesn't hang on the RPMs either and drone, like I said before, like some of the other CVTs are on the market. It does have a little bit of a turbo lag. It will break the wheels loose just a little bit. You're not going to win any races with this thing. I have it floored right now. I can hold a nice conversation, getting up to almost 70 here. And I don't know if you can hear the engine or not. You can faintly hear the engine a little bit as it goes to the gearing, the ratio on the CVT transmission. But the one thing that I don't like about the CVT is it will lock up the torque converter quite often. When you're muddling around town 25 miles per hour to maybe 40 miles per hour or so, and you're keeping that speed, you're not accelerating or decelerating, the torque converter will lock up, and you get this kind of a vibration from the engine. And I'll do a 0 to 60 here real quick. I'll power out of the hole here. A little bit of turbo lag, picks up. You got 30 miles per hour, 40, 50, and 60. But overall, the driving dynamics are pretty good. It handles well. It tends to have some body lean as you progressively turn into the curves. The braking's pretty assured. Nothing's really bad about the vehicle, but nothing's excellent. It's just kind of in the middle of the road. But with manufacturers making all these compact crossover vehicles these days, the Buick Encore GX I think is going to start to gain some attention. As far as the pricing goes, you're looking at spending about $29,000 to start off for the base preferred trim. This one being the Essence trim, you're looking at spending $35,000 as this vehicle stands right now, as tested, fully loaded. The only option that's left is the all-wheel drive system. And selecting, like I said before, selecting the all-wheel drive moves you to the 9-speed automatic transmission instead of the CVT. CVT can only be had with the front-wheel drive. Probably the most surprising thing about this car, having that 3-cylinder turbocharged engine, is the fuel consumption. You're looking at 30 miles per gallon city and 32 miles per gallon highway. I'm almost able to match that. Fuel consumption is very consistent on this car. 3-cylinder engine's kind of pushing it for us on paper, but it is a decent 3-cylinder engine. I have to give it to Buick. It keeps pace with traffic. You're able to overtake a few vehicles, but it's not quick. And looking at the overall package and being something larger than the regular Buick Encore, the Encore GX is a nice sweet spot for a subcompact crossover utility vehicle, especially having the availability of all these premium features. But it's not something for me, but it might be something for some of you guys out there looking, shopping around for a subcompact crossover. I definitely check this one out before you look at some of the others. But that's all I have for you for the 2020 Buick Encore GX. Hope you come back, smash that thumbs up button. Hope you subscribe. That helps me out a lot in keeping these videos coming to you. I'll bring you some more stuff. I promise I'll bring you some exciting stuff here eventually. Hang in there with me. Until then, I will catch you guys in the next one.